Today's Reddit story comes from the subreddit Entitled People, and it's titled, "Been saying to my parents for years that my sister is very entitled and they've ignored it until now. The OP is 17 female. On to the story. My sister, 15 female, has always been selfish ever since she was a child. She would never share, never do anything for anyone else, but would expect everyone to do everything for her. Obviously, as a small child, that's understandable, but she's never grown out of it. My parents have always dismissed this as just her personality. My sister has always been rude to me specifically. She demands I do things for her. She demands I make her food. She demands I pay for her things. She demands I do this, that, and the other. But if I ask the same, she shouts at me. I don't remember the last time she's done anything for anyone out of the kindness of her heart. She just shouts. There's been times I've been violently ill and bedridden due to a chronic illness, and I ask her if she can get me water, and she shouts at me. Even though I make her food and drink multiple times a day, because if I don't, she just won't eat. She's also rude about everything. Anytime someone talks to her, she has a tone or shouts. She's so difficult to have a conversation with. I say nice things, and she's just rude to me, and screams, and is awful. And my parents say nothing. But if I dare talk half as bad as she does, I get told off. I've mentioned countless times the favoritism and how they see her as a perfect little angel and they coddled her and rarely tell her off and has never ever given her discipline, yet they have always done that to me. And they've acted like I was crazy. She's so manipulative. She always plays the victim and turns my parents against me when she is in the wrong. I told my parents that one day people are going to have enough of her in the real world and I'm going to have to cut contact if her behavior continues. And again, they didn't want to listen. And just thought it's because of sisterly love and it's normal sister behavior and not concerning behavior. Until this week, I went on a family reunion, and my cousin, 23 male, and 12 male humbled her. She was doing her normal toxic behavior. She was talking to them rudely and rolling her eyes at them, as she does every day to people, and my 23-year-old cousin wasn't having it. He was like, "Listen, if you keep acting like this in the real world, you're going to get slapped. And she needs to cut her attitude." And my sister was just rudely like, sure, okay, as if he was stupid. And my 12-year-old cousin added that he always feels like she judges him because she always glares at him. Obviously, my parents couldn't deny this, and it was actually a really big wake-up call. They realized her behavior isn't just to immediate family and isn't normal to outsiders. And she would do the same behavior to people she aren't close with, not just her parents and sister. Now my parents are telling me that I can't get her food and water and she needs to do some things for herself. And they are forcing her to be independent. And they've been actually disciplining her when she's toxic. She is not taking it well. She's been screaming at me even though it's not my fault and I haven't done anything. It's a bit late, but I'm glad they are finally putting their foot down and no longer looking at her as a perfect little angel who can do no wrong. I just hope they actually stick to it. This is a clear example of parents favoring one child over the other. Clearly, the sister's behavior is horrendous. As the OP has mentioned, this does not just apply to just family, but to everyone. It doesn't matter if it's family, friends, or whoever. And I'm so glad that finally the parents can see the light at the end of the tunnel of how horrible the 15-year-old's behavior is. But it did take a while for them to realize, and it had to take from other family members to see it, and I'm assuming that the parents also witnessed this in person. But let's see what some of the commenters have to say about this. The first commenter says, doesn't matter if they stick to it, you stick to it. If she decides to be bratty to you, just tell her that she's old enough to handle it herself. Tell her she did it to herself, and although she doesn't realize it, this is the wake-up call that she needed because no one likes a B. Good luck. Another commenter said, gray rock her. Ignore her requests. You are not her servant. She can make food and get water herself. Don't respond at all. Your parents breed and raised this abomination. At least now they grew spines and are backing you up. She is not handicapped, and you are a peer or better. It'll be rough at first, but remain firm. Another commenter says, also, OP says they suffer from a chronic condition. As someone with enough to fill out a medical book myself, OP can probably use a hand once in a while. The OP responds, yeah, when I have a flare-up, I physically cannot walk without collapsing or being in severe discomfort. Another commenter replied back to the OP by saying, hugs, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. Having someone like her doesn't make it easier. My sister and I have the same autoimmune mystery going on. We are each other's biggest support. Another commenter says this, you do your part. Demand to be treated with respect and the common courtesy. You do not need to lecture. Just don't comply and don't reply to rude requests or behaviors. In fact, demand please and thank yous and a pleasant tone. Ignore everything else entirely to the point of not engaging her in conversation unless she is polite and pleasant. Do not do things for her if she is not reciprocating. Another commenter says, it's not exactly true she did it to herself. Her parents raised her to be like this. As a 15-year-old, she knows no other way of behaving. The blame at this point fully lies on the parents. I feel so bad for both these children. They are, or were, being failed by their parents miserably, and they are both being neglected in different but still very damaging ways. Another commenter says, while I agree with you to a point, self-awareness is a thing and it seems as though the daughter in question doesn't have any. Like if you go around treating people like crap, then wonder why nobody wants to be around you, that's a you problem. Responsibility is held by both parties, and at 15, I put more responsibility on the child at this point. A follow-up commenter says, it's very hard to have that self-awareness when up until this very point, this is how she was raised and allowed to get away with. In her head, she was doing nothing wrong, as she was behaving the way she has always behaved. This is well beyond the average Redditor's understanding. OP's sister needs mental health intervention at this point. Her parents can't just introduce this new normal to her without proper guidance. The parents fail massively here and continue to do so. This girl is going to have a very hard time with being an adult, and that is the parents' fault at this present time. They are the ones who didn't teach her any better or have better expectation of her. They are the ones responsible for getting her professional help and failing to do so. At 15, she is still a juvenile and needs her parents to make the right moves. If she was an adult, that would be different. I actually have to agree with the commenters here. Yes, the 15-year-old sister doesn't really know any better because the way that she grew up, this is normal behavior to her. So yeah, I understand where the other commenters are coming from saying that it's mainly the parents' fault, which is true if you really think about it. The parents didn't teach the 15-year-old sister any better. Luckily, at least the OP knows better. So yeah, I guess the parents did a good job with the OP, sort of, but not with the younger sister. I don't know what happened there. So hopefully, the 15-year-old sister will learn her lesson and actually change her attitude and not be so entitled and so rude. And I wish OP the best of luck and hope things will change for the better. Let me know what you guys think of the story and what you guys have done. Leave those in the comments, and if you like these types of stories, continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.